better. Well, there we go. I don't know what happened, but we're back. Wow, that was bizarre. Camera was all messed up and not giving us anything good. And I went to try to adjust it, and it crashed YouTube entirely. So, all right, Commodore, good to see you. We are live. We're back. Hello, crafters. No Lady D tonight. She is suffering from a really nasty cold, so I gave her the night off, told her to get some sleep. Artie, good to see you, sir. All right. Well, we lost a little time already, but we're going to jump into it. I had the camera set weird because I was doing some... Zane, my man. Zane, good to see you. Pale Orc, good to see you. Gosh, all my favorite people are starting to show up. How are we tonight? Are we having a good time? Are we having a good week? Did we have a good weekend? I had a great weekend. I had a fabulous freaking weekend. And we're going to be talking about that a lot. I mean, I know there's a lot of news going on with everything that's going on this week, but I got cool stuff I want to talk about. Now, those of you that are in my channel already, in my Discord channel, already know some of this stuff. But instead of doing an unboxing, I'm going to be showing off some really, really cool stuff. So we're going to do what's on the bench in the later part of the show instead of like normal. And we're going to talk about news first. Oh, man, Zane, I didn't even know you were injured, man. I'm glad to know you're better. Hey, Zane, you got to take care of you. Let us know, man. If there's anything we can do to help you out, you let us know, man. We are here for you. You are our friend. You are our pal. You are a buddy. And as much as we give you crap, man, I'm just saying it publicly. You know I love you, man. You know I do. All right, let me adjust this up a little bit. All right. I'm in a great mood. Like I said, it was a great freaking weekend. Lots of new announcements. New Necrons Codex going on pre-order this weekend. The new Space Marines base Codex going on pre-sale this weekend. Excited about that. The new motorbike of ear breaking. I mean, I don't even know what it's called, but the dune buggy with the machine gun with it right next to the dude's ears. That's going on pre-sale this weekend. A bunch of stuff going on pre-sale. The chaplain on a bike. The Silent King. There's just so much going on pre-order this weekend. And they've announced all this stuff. There's new terrain packs going on pre-sale. I'm actually kind of stoked for the terrain packs. The ATV Invader. Well, Zane, we're always here for you, buddy. I'm glad to see things are doing better for you. New terrain packs. Yeah, I'm really excited. And that goes back to what we're going to talk about, what's on the bench, because I just finished an entire box of terrain. Actually, I finished a couple of boxes of terrain. I got a couple more almost done with. I'm kind of stoked for the new models. I like the little death buggy. I mean, the fact that you can swap that for a multi-melta or the minigun, I don't know. Depending on how fast that thing is, that can be ridiculous. And chaplain on a bike. I don't know how I feel about that. I like the idea of the chaplain on a bike, but if they're going to do chaplain on a bike, then they got to give us Primaris Captain on a bike, and they got to give us Primaris Lieutenant on a bike. They got to give us the other guys on bikes. I mean, that's kind of a must at this point. If you're going to do it for one HQ, you got to do it for all the HQs. I mean, I feel bad because I got them all on Thunderwolves because, we're wolves. We don't care. But, it'd be nice. It would be nice. But I got to say, the model they have is gorgeous. It is a beautiful model. If I didn't already have a number of wolf priests, I'd think about getting it. But I already have a lot of wolf priests. So I don't know if I really need it. But I'll think about it. I mean, I'll think about it. How do I feel about virtual tabletops? Hello, Tina Raven. Full knowledge you. I like the virtual tabletops for role-playing games. I like being able to set the stage under a role-playing game and putting it down. War games, not so much, I'll be honest. If you were just setting down a mat and then you're putting terrain on it, that would be probably pretty cool. The reason I don't like them for wargaming is the same reason I don't like. There's a company out there, I think it's from Malifaux. They do terrain, but they just do them as like these little discs you put down or little, outline pieces you put down. So that's terrain there. And I kind of like my wargaming to be a little more immersive. I like having to peek through buildings and check, do I have some lines of sight? And just to have a building there that says, well, if this thing is here, that means there's no line of sight through it. Well, that's great, but yeah. I mean, like I said, I like them for D&D. I had a friend of mine that was running a superhero campaign, and he was using a virtual tabletop to run the game. And so he could set up the city and then put the vehicles that were on the ground and all that. And having superhero battles worked really cool. Have I ever done a terrain piece that integrated a small LCD screen? No. I thought about it. I thought about doing a portal that I could stick a phone in and you could have like a digital thing show up on a portal. But then I realized, I kind of like my stuff to be a little bit more throw it in a box when I'm done. So, I'm a simple guy. I like LCD lights and stuff. I like things that light up, maybe even blinky, fire effects, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's not my bag. Like I said, I like to be able to throw my stuff in a box, throw it on the shelf, and forget about it. Oh, let me get my phone out of there. Or let me get that old phone that I was using for that out of there. And yeah, it's just not my thing. Now the other thing that's coming out this weekend, or at least going on pre-sale, there's the new terrain cards, which I think could be useful if they've got the rules for them right on there. That might be useful to, I've got this terrain on the board, I can put these cards down. If you want to give that a shot and you think that'd be cool, you got a cool idea for it, I would encourage it. I would absolutely encourage it. I've seen people do them for train layouts, like they have like digital billboards, and that was really cool. It's just, I know I like good terrain. I don't want my terrain to be better than my figures, I want the terrain to be like, that's cool to play on. Now let's get the figures and go. And it's the same reason why I don't like using. I've seen guys that use smoke generators to put like fog over the board. I thought about it, and I'm like, that's a pretty cool idea. I actually was looking at making a piece of terrain at one point that actually had a water fountain built into it, so it could be this temple that had water to a water god, and so the water would be pumped out, come off the top of the temple, and pour over into a pool around it, and then there would be this submersible pump that's pulling the water up, and just so it's a giant fountain in a pool. Now here, that's kind of a cool idea. I mean, if you were to have like a inquisitorial Baneblade, they're in Inquisitor colors, and have a Purge the Heretics, that type of thing on there, that'd be kind of that would be kind of metal, man. I'd be cool with that. So yeah, the terrain cards look like they could be cool. They look like they could be very cool if that's what they're doing. There's only 22 cards in the set, so I don't know. For $25 to get 22 cards, I don't know. I think I'd rather just make my own cards. That, truth be told, I think I'd rather just make my own cards. There's 2 new books coming out. One's going to be the Crusade book, specifically for the campaign, the Crusade campaign for Necrons versus Space Marines. I've seen a lot of reviews of it, and I'll be honest, I went through the Crusade rules in the base rule book. And I like game systems, and I like role-playing concepts, and I like D&D, and I like those kind of things. And I was looking at those rules, and when they first talked about them, had they been as simple as they talked about initially, I'd have been a lot more behind them. I don't think I can get behind them at this point. So I don't think I'll be buying that book. The other book they're going to come out with is supposed to be a thing for setting up terrain. Like it's supposed to be a battlefield set book. I don't really understand. They make it sound like it's a whole bunch of new missions and stuff. But from everybody that's reviewed it, it's basically spreadsheets, the book, on exacting where terrain has to go, what effects, like you have to have this many X numbers, these pieces have to go this way, these have to go on the board exactly here and exactly there. And it's basically, this is how you set up the battlefield for this mission. That'd be kind of cool, Zane. I give you that one. That would be really cool. I think a Baneblade, given the size of it, or a Malkador, something that big with an LCD screen out would be kind of cool. I'm gonna wait to see if somebody gets that book, maybe page through it, or if they do like a multi-page review or something, where I can see a better look at that book. But I don't know that I'm gonna get that book either. You know, I like setting up my own battlefields. I like setting up my own terrain. And to be honest, I want to be able to build my own terrain to use in the way I want to use it for like games in my house and for games I play with friends. So why do I want a book that tells me you need this terrain to put here exactly in this way? If I was doing that, I wouldn't have taken a kit and glued it together in a very specific way, because this is what I wanted for a piece. That's just me. I mean, I'm all about being immersive, but I forgot to do a piece. But again, there's a difference between the game system telling me this is exactly how you're going to set up this battle and me running 40K. I don't think 40K needs that level of control over how we play the game. And from what I've seen from a lot of reviewers, they agree with me on this one. So, and to go along with what Winner's SEO says, it's kind of disheartening when GW releases a book designed for narrative play, and it's a $40 book that has exactly 3 pages of narrative content in it. And the rest of it is just battle plans and rules and stuff. I don't know. I'm thinking, I mean, I understand this is kind of a new direction for GW. And so there's going to be some hits and misses. But this is a definite miss off the gate. So we'll see how things go. We'll see how reviews go to this go. And honestly, I'll wait to see when it comes out. And maybe, like I said, see if I can borrow a friend's, or see if I could just get a couple pages and try and run a few games using it and see how it works. But I'm not all in on that yet. We'll see. And with this, that marks the beginning of the new waves of stuff. I mean, they're showing that there's a lot more models coming. So it's all coming. We're going to start getting all that new wave of the new Primaris tank, the new Primaris flyer, the individual kits that were in Indominus. We're going to start getting all our stuff. So us Marines players, and from what I've seen for the I kind of can too, Phoenix, but at the same time, it's from what I'm understanding, and again, I'm going by what I'm being told by reviewers. It makes it sound like, okay, you have to buy these 3 sets of terrain to set up this board. So it's basically a buy this stuff so you can set up this board exactly like this. So along with a hobby that's a little expensive to get into, no, you're absolutely right on that one, Phoenix. That's exactly the idea. The problem is that they're kind of setting this up as a you're gonna need these terrain kits, and so they're basically creating a pipeline for you need to buy this so that you can set up and play this game this way. But the thing is, they do that already with just the basic set. I mean, you buy the basic thing, and look, on the back, they kind of show you a couple of ways to set it up. So they already kind of do that. Now to codify it with actual, like, rules on this is the way you must do it. Again, I'm not making a full judgment on it yet. I'm just like, if that's the actual case from that's what it sounds like, I'm not in, and I don't like it. Because you can go to any YouTube channel that shows battle reports and see these guys just throw terrain down on a board. And there's 30 different companies that make terrain for wargaming. The GW thing is going to be, you must buy this kit to set up this way to make this board set and to do this battle. So it's basically a $40 book that, from first glimpse, looks to be a $40 book that shows you ways to buy $60 and $90 terrain kits to use in the way they specifically and blatantly want you to use them. Now, here's the thing. I just got word from Rampart. Yeah, I kind of see it there, Zane. But again, 90% of games are casual and friendly games. That's the thing to remember about this hobby. There's very little tournaments compared to the amount of popularity and friendly games in comparison. I mean, you can watch a YouTube channel that has, a once a month video that shows you the results for all the tournament games, all the tournaments in one, 15-minute YouTube video. We play more games than that in a weekend in one city. So, your mileage may vary. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying I am waiting to reserve judgment, but I do not have high hopes. Fair? All right. So let's see. What else is going on? I mean, that's the big thing. There's a bunch of stuff, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff going down. They did the showing off stuff. I mean, there's stuff showing up on the community this week about all the new codexes. I am so excited for the Wolf Codex. I'm so excited for the regular Codex because finally Wolves are just going to be part of the Marine Codex with a secondary book. Now, there are some people that are upset. Well, you're losing your flavor. No. I'm not losing my flavor. What I'm doing is I don't have to wait for a separate release that I can use the new stuff. I'm with these guys. I may be running a little differently, and I have my own special rules, but I'm still Marines. So that Marine tank, the Executioner, that was the perfect example. The Primaris Executioner came out, and it took 2 months to get an FAQ so that wolves could actually use it. I love my executioner. I would have bought one on the day it came out, but it was expressly noted that wolves can't use it to start off. It was assumed we would eventually be able to, but we couldn't start off playing with them. And the problem is that's been the case in most of the Primaris releases in between the first Codex and Codex 2.0. They had to wait until an FAQ came out to say, oh, yeah, by the way, wolves can use that. Oh, yeah, by the way, wolves can use that. And that's the same thing for the Blood Angels. That's the same thing for the Dark Angels. That's the same thing for Death Watch. And now they're finally going, you know what? You guys are Astartes. You get all the toys. You just have to have your own little special book to know how you guys run them differently. Debate is on. Time to watch the clown show. Oh, the debate. Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, Zane. I think what's going to happen is that every army is going to have their own little flavor. That's why they're going to have their own individual book. But they're going to have all the main units and the main stuff in the main book. So you know, hey, we can use this. So we don't have to wait for a secondary update. Because, like, Space Wolves don't run... Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what they're going to do with all the just-off units. Like, Space Wolves don't use tactical Marines. They don't have tactical squads. They use Blood Claws or they use Grey Hunters, which are different. Perfect example, the biggest thing to note about both of them, well, that was my joy of being on a Tuesday. I don't care about the debate right now. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see. That's why everybody's kind of excited for it. I mean, I know of a Death Watch player that's actually waiting excitedly for that new codex, because if the codex does what everyone other codex has done, they're going to have their specific stuff in their codex, but the main book says this is all stuff you can use. That's kind of cool. So let's talk about what's on the bench. We've got a half hour. We've talked about all the new stuff. Let's talk about what's on the bench, because that's going to be the big part of this show. So first off, what you're seeing right now, this hopefully will be the last show you're going to see that's going to look this plain. I want to give a big shout out. I want to give a big shout out to the Pale Orc, who has been instrumental in helping me put together an OBS template and explain some things about OBS to me. I got to get with Freak for a few other little things yet, but I've got it about 90% set up, so that's starting hopefully next week. I'm not promising, but the hope is next week this show will start being presented in OBS, so there'll be a little bit more bells and whistles, a little bit more better things. I was hoping to get a stream this weekend, but my weekend was so crazy busy, I didn't get a chance to get back to my computer to really do anything. I wanted to do an effort, let's do it live Saturday. That didn't happen. And then we're going to do it Sunday, and that didn't happen. But here's why. So let's talk about what's on the bench. What's on the bench, first off, what am I actively working on right now? I am just about done with my second set of pipes. Where's the other big guy? I set it down here. I've got two big sets of pipes. And, oh, here it is. Because there's a couple things I forgot to set up yet on Pale Arc. I'll talk about it in chat later tonight when I go back to regular chat in Discord. Thank you. So I got a second thing of the plasma conduits, and instead of having them all loose pieces, I actually built them as two structures because I wanted a couple bigger pieces that I could just set down on the board and leave it as they were. So I've got these two, and I did just finish another set. Let me quickly grab that. I forgot to grab them. And then I forgot I put them in the room back here behind me. La 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 la. All right. So set these guys aside. All right. So we finished up our two thermal regulators. And we have a completed set of thermoregulator pipes that are all separated so I can use them in any configuration. This set, the big set's almost done. I have to do the white highlighting, the middle blue and the white highlighting for the plasma venting. And then I have to take some typhus corrosion and get the lower half all the way around on this thing and get the typhus corrosion all over these pieces, and then they'll be done. So I've got these pieces mainly done over this last week. And I was using them for a 1,000-point game I played on Saturday. That was amazing. I got to play Tau with my custodies, and it was a really great game, playing against somebody I hadn't played before. And he was a great time. He's a good player. I understand why people are having problems with Tau. They're really kind of Tau are in a problematic place right now. They've got to kind of figure out how to use them, because I had a set of five marker lights on one of my main units and had half their army shoot into it, and I went, okay. And then I ran up with a set of 4 bikes and opened up and just kind of started at one end of the board and just kind of wiped off units one at a time. And, you know, he really wasn't. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what he and I were. And that's the thing. We played a full game. And then after I tabled him, we sat and talked about it. I talked about some of the things I've been seeing Tau doing well. And I think breachers are going to be a thing for Tau. I think Tau really need to lean heavier on their breachers. And that's the problem, is that Tau need. I don't know what Tau need. I mean, they don't have a lot of units with high toughness. That's their biggest thing. They don't have a lot of really sturdy units. You know, they have lots of high volume units, but they don't have lots of durable units. So give me 1 second. Yes, you could have. Teenagers don't have them. Grr. What a night. This is kind of being crazy to hear. Oh, I'm sorry. It got me off track there. Yeah, Tao, I mean, I ran up to his tank. He had a hammerhead, and I kind of wrecked his tank on turn 1. And we were only playing 1,000 points, so that might be part of it too. But, I mean, his broadsides weren't... His broadsides, the armor, his missiles aren't hitting. I mean, that's the thing. You need a lot of marker lights to get them to be worth hitting. I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of theory crafting in Tau that's got to go on yet. And Tau is just not in a great place right now. Again, they don't have the durability. And so that's part of the problem they're having. So, yeah, like I said, it was a great time. I got to use, again, some of this other terrain. I just finished this up as well. Again, not completely done. I got to throw some more typhus corrosion on it. But the terrain that comes in the new box set is all done and painted. I want to throw typhus corrosion, like I said, on the pipes. The buildings are done, though. I think these look pretty good. I don't know. What do you guys think? I think this is good enough to be on a board. So we're in a good place here. What needs footprints, Orc? They do, actually. That's an interesting point about these. They did this differently than before. With the 2 9th edition buildings, they actually have a footprint because this is not the whole building. They actually come with a second piece so that they show exactly what the footprint of the building is. So here's the main part of the wall, but here's the other part of the wall, and it forms a singular building. Now, I will be honest, I thought about actually mounting these. I thought about grabbing out like a thin piece of MDF and cutting it to size, then mounting them. But then I realized for storage purposes, easier not to. But since these are marked out as clearly, you know, these are a building, this is actually a named building, that they have a full footprint. So I actually think they should actually have a base for their buildings. If they're going to mark them off as being footprinted like that, I think it would be neat. But that's a huge sheet of plastic that you don't have to pay for. Because, you know, if they put that base in there, considering a flying base, which is this big, considering a flying base is $10, can you imagine what they would charge you for a piece of textured plastic that you mount those 2 pieces on, when those 2 buildings in a box by themselves are in the new kit are $50, 40 or $50? That'd be another $10 easily. Here are 2 sheets of plastic, but they're $50. So I still might. I'm kind of on the fence with it, especially since I want to get another set of them. I think I might just get some MDF, some 3mm MDF, cut it to size, bevel it, glue them down, and throw some sand or some, you know, some sand and some aquarium gravel, and then boom, 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 you go. So it's a thought. So terrain has been great for me. I've got a lot of terrain done. I'm really happy. A lot of pieces. I've got a lot of work done on them. And then the bigger part I wanted to show off. Now I know those are, like I said, those in my Discord have seen this, but I kind of really want to show this off, and I kind of want to show it because it's kind of making me rethink a lot of things I'm thinking, especially knowing that a new Marines Codex is coming out or going on pre-sale in a week. So let me show you what I got. A friend of mine who I have known for a few years, and he hosts pre-corona a monthly paint party at his house where a bunch of us old school gamers will get together, and he paints up historicals and D&D figures, and we all paint up D&D figures, and I paint up 40K. I'm the only 40K player in that group of friends, which is kind of fun because we talk about miniatures, and I'll pull out a 40K figure like blah 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 blah, but then they see the price on them. It's like, because they'll buy a bunch of Ral Partha figures, which are $2, $3 a piece, and then I'll pull out like a cap that I'm working on. Well, how much was that? Yeah, it's $35. What? And that always sparks a conversation. But at one point, my friend was doing gaming. I mean, he's a big war gamer. So apparently he had invested in a large amount of Warhammer stuff. And he got it all, and he primed a bunch of it, and then stuck it in his basement for 25 years. For 25 years plus, in some cases. He gave me a call about 2 weeks ago. He's like, hey, I know we can't get together and paint, but you should come by. I've got a bunch of old Warhammer stuff. I need to get it out of my house. It's just taking up space, and I'm never going to paint it. So you should come get it and take it if you want it, if it's worth anything. If not, I'll just throw it away. I'm like, oh, no, old Warhammer stuff, I'll come get it. I figured, maybe it's like a box of figures, because he had a knowledge of 40K, but he didn't seem like he was really big into it. Okay, so this is just Space Marines. And you're seeing me straining to lift this up. It's because these are all pewter figurines. These are all the pewter figs from first and second edition. Some of them, I actually have them in this box because I'm digging them out for a project. Historically, there is a figure that was the first Imperial Space Marine, and it predated Rogue Trader by 2 years. Came out in 1985. He's in here. There is if you follow my Twitter, I put a picture up. There is a group of 8 Marines that were the first box of the Imperial Marines. They were from Rogue Trader era. So these came out in like 87. This is one of them, that group of 8. The entire set of 8 is in this box. Now, some of those aren't even playable because they don't even look like modern Marines. They've got weapons that aren't like, what is this? Like, here is a good old-fashioned Beaky Marine, but he's got a Needler rifle. That's the original name for the Shuriken catapult. The Eldar gun? A Marine with a Shuriken catapult. I don't even know what to even say about that. But then there's other, like, classics. Like the original Dark Angels captain. Hey, Kaiju. One of... Oh, here he is. That's what I was talking about earlier. The Imperial Space Marine. They did a cover version of him in plastic for their 30th anniversary a few years back. This is that original metal figure. One piece, solid lead-ish material. And that's the thing. A lot of these figures are pure lead, or maybe not lead, but that pewter stuff they used for a while there. Just some weird looking models. You know, it's like, what is this I'm looking at? A Marine with a chainsword saw gun. Chainsword gun. The chainsword gun is kind of an interesting repeating motif. This guy, he kind of reminds me of, you know, Blood Angels. I don't know what to make of him. He's got a Blood Angel symbol on his shoulder, it looks like. He may predate them, though. I don't know. He may have been something that went, oh, we like this. You know, crazy stuff like a Tech Marine. That's just a guy with a really big wrench. That is my wrench. So I got this really cool big box of Marines. And I'm like, well, that's amazing. Okay, and I've got all the plastic pieces for the guys in their arms. So it's making me think, well, maybe I'm going to do that Codex compliant Marine army, because this should be close to having enough to do at least 500 points of non-Primaris, maybe 1,000 points of non-Primaris Marines. And then there was a second box. Yeah, that's the thing. I think these guys, well, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of these stuff is Rogue Trader era stuff. Because, like, then there's the second box, and I mean, there's this crazy looking runt herder. And these are all still sealed. I mean, Space Marine chaplains, 2 of them in a box. Like, what would you do with 2 chaplains in one pack? Space Marine standard bearer. And I mean, I was like, this is really cool. It's a huge box of this stuff. I'm like, wow. I mean, this is really, really great. I'm digging this. And I'm like, okay, well, this really is going to make me look at, you know, what do I do for a project? And then I got the rest of the box. And some of this stuff is still sealed in plastic. I mean, we're talking a Dark Angels Tactical Squad from, according to this here, crafted in pewter. And I think there's a year on it right here. 1993. This is a 1990. You can hear the jingling of the pewter figures in here. Never been opened. And a Blood Angels Death Company to go with it. So this was a trove. Yeah, I mean, we got Dark Angels, we got Blood Angels. We've got Ultramarines. We got Blood Claws, Space Wolves. I'm like, this is some crazy stuff. And then got some unaligned guys. Oh no, these are set up for Blood Angels, but Blood Angels Devastators. But they don't really have Blood Angels iconography. The big thing they had back then was just the decals. So it's a group of the old Devastators. So I'm thinking I could set these up as any Marine. And I was talking to my friend Antonio, and he's like, dude, with that many old Marines and stuff, you could like set up like a total retro army, just all 100% retro figures, no Primaris, just retro figures. Use all these old lead figures or these pewter figures and just build an army with that. And I'm thinking, well, I may have to go on eBay and see if I can find like an old Rhino or maybe even print like the smaller Rhino. But it'd be kind of fun. And with the new Codex coming out, I'm thinking that'd be hilarious. Have the brand new Codex with this ancient army and its own rules. That's kind of appealing to me. But the thing is, it's not just Marines and stuff. There's like some old Eldar stuff in here, the Viper jet bike. And this made me realize why the Eldar are so salty. Because I actually opened this box up, and it's the exact same kit as the current kit. This is from 1996. This is the exact same kit, or it looks like the exact same kit that they currently use. I think there's one of these in the Blood of the Phoenix box, and if there is, I'm going to compare the two. But it looks like it's the exact same model. That's kind of embarrassing, and that kind of explains why Eldar people are kind of salty. I mean, I know for a fact that Kane's figure in 40K is this figure just in resin. It's the exact same figure. There is no difference. Except he's on a round base now instead of being on a square one. But this is the exact same figure. They just took the metal mold and are using it to cast resin. So I can understand why they're salty. But then I got salty because I saw these guys and I'm like, why have I never seen anything like this before? And I went and looked them up, and they're legends, and they are the only unit in the Imperial Guard that are in Legends. They're the only one. They are specifically the only unit in Legends. Rough Riders. Why? These are just so different from everything else that any other army has. They're a unique looking figure. And I've got like 12 of them. Well, I'm going to build them up for my Imperial Guard army. And since I'm not going to be using that for competitive play, for casual play, being able to drop down some cavalry that are actually cavalry, I mean, that's kind of fun. I mean, it'd be like, those are Imperial Guard? Yeah, they're called Rough Riders. That's hilarious. And I was already thinking about it. It's like, man, you take these guys, and here's a reason you want to run Catchikins. Because these guys as Catchikins get that +1 strength. Well, heck, these guys are killing Marines now with those lances they've got on them. That's pretty cool. And then, speaking of Catchikin, there's their old lead kit. Now, these guys are opened up. There's only like 4 or 5 of them in here. So I may use them as officers or something. Because you look at these compared to their current plastic kit, these guys look really, really good. I mean, let me pull it out. See if you guys can see this. It's hard to tell. You know, it's hard to tell without them being primed or whatnot. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up that well. But I mean, I don't know if you guys can see that. And then a sealed up box of the Talon Desert Raiders. Talon are really gorgeous looking figures. I remember they did a recently in the last 6 months or so. GW had a you buy it, we build it, whatever they call it when they do that. When they put them up and they'll only make as many as people actually order. But they had a huge Talon set that they were like, hey, we're gonna have all these different, Talon dudes. Heck, if they ever did that again, I might grab some of them just to build these guys. They look really, again, these are really good looking figures. And I mean, Talon are cool figures to begin with. So I mean, they're a cool unit to begin with. We lose a bunch of people. Looks like we lost a bunch of people. But I think this will be fun. I think these will be fun. Even if I just paint them up as a painting project, I think they'll be a lot of fun. One of the things I got to say I was most excited about. Oh, hang on. Let me come back to this one. I also got something. For that sister of battle that I know. And it's been opened. I mean, the box is like really banged up. But that's just cardboard, and it was in a basement. The model inside is in absolutely pristine condition. But this is the original Rhino. It's just this is the immolator layout. Oh, and they even went so far. Oh, check this out. I didn't see this. There is a metal sprue in here. Oh no. Well, I'm sorry. I hope you guys didn't miss all that. There's a metal kit in this box that has a bunch of replacement hatches and a replacement sister to go on this thing to take it from being a regular Rhino and turn it into a Sisters of Battle Rhino immolator. So that's crazy cool. That's really awesome. I didn't realize there was a metal kit in there to make it an immolator. They just took a Rhino and they threw an immolator. So now I have the idea of how big an actual original Rhino is, and God, they're tiny. So, that's a darn shame. But the person I know that's getting this is because I'm going to be passing this on. And that was a big thing. The guy that gave this to me was like, hey, if you do sell them, I wouldn't mind if you split that with me. And I'm like, if I sell any of these things, I'm going to give you the money for them. Because he freely gave me what could easily be turned into a lot of historical money for figures. I mean, this is some great stuff. The trip itself was worth it just because I got a copy of the original copy in metal of my guy, Bjorn the Fell-Handed. And people who know me know I've been talking about it for a while. Bjorn the Fell-Handed is my guy. I mean, he is the guy, one of the guys that got me into the game. And this is all in pewter. This is the original pewter kit. So this is an entire huge metal kit that was the same cast that they did when they did it in resin that they replaced in 2014 with the new plastic kit. But that's the thing. 25 years ago, I had this kit. I had this model, and I lost it. One of my moves, or one of the floods that we had. No, it's not, because I had a stream shut down. And did you see the last thing the two people said?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Stream locked up. But it's still recording.
Okay.
So, if I ended up selling anything, I would just give him the money for it outright, because this is his stuff. He was nice enough to give it to me without asking for anything in return. And that's awesome. And that's a lot of really cool historical stuff. I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked to build this stuff. Have I gotten through it all? Yes, I have gotten through it all. And there's more to that story. So I showed you guys the box of Marines. This is the box of just chaos. There's a bunch of the old original chaos machines, and chaos troopers and heavy weapon chaos guys. So I've got a huge box of chaos stuff for it too, including two figures I've been looking for, because I know what they are. They're the two original Plague Marines. In addition to the original Noise Marine with his heavy guitar. It's awesome. It's just some crazy stuff in here. Now, there's some pieces I'm missing, and my guy that gave me all this stuff says he's going to be looking for it because he knows there's more. Now, that kind of stunned me, too. There's more. More on that in a second. I want to show you the one other thing. This is about 5 pounds. Oh. And this is entirely nothing but lead Eldar, or pewter Eldar. We're talking striking scorpions, Phoenix Lords, Hawk Lords, single piece figures, a bunch of Guardians. I'm actually going to have to go out to a bits site and buy a bunch of arms, because there's a bunch of arms that are missing. But I mean, I can buy sets of the Eldar Guardian arms for next to nothing. I think I can get 18 of them for like $10 American. Yeah, it really is. It's a really great fun, and that's the whole thing. I mean, it makes me. I was thinking about doing Eldar anyhow, since my wife is doing Drukari, and she wants to do Yanari, but Yanari's not in a really good place right now. So she wants to focus on doing Drukari, but she really wants to kind of back off and really work on her Marines. So we've got a huge amount of Eldar figures, and now I have a huge amount of Eldar figures. And to be able to do a massive Eldar army in the color scheme I'm already doing them in, because I already did a couple of them, kind of testing it out. Just being able to do a huge amount of my Eldar, all Oldar. I mean, it's just fun. There's all these crazy looking figures. I've got a box of the original. It's the same figures minus 2 of the set. But when they were released originally in '93, the Harlequins, there was 18 figures in the box, and that was the 18 Harlequins, and that's all there was. And they were just a special elite unit within the Eldar to start off with. Well, that entire box set, minus 2 Death Jesters, was in that box of Eldar. So I have, and I put them separately. So it's the entire original. Yeah, dude. Dude, I've been promoting that stuff. Did I get a chance to check out your Squig Buggy? Dude, I've been promoting that stuff. I've been showing it off. I got you, bro. I got you, bro. So an entire thing of this, these nearly 30-year-old Harlequins. Well, a good friend of mine offered and he is trying to turn himself. He's trying to create a customer base, and so he kind of wants some figures to do this with. He wants to turn himself into a pro painter. He's a really, really good painter, and he's still working on some techniques, but he's really, really good. So he's like, I'd really love to paint some figures. Well, I've been gifting single figures here and there to a couple of people, and I gave him one of the figures. One of the guys to go with him, the other Zote, because I got 2 Zotes in this box of figures. And I gave him the other Zote. I'm like, dude, here, paint this and put this up on your Instagram. And we were talking, and there was a tournament last year when gaming was still going on, where I came in 3rd place, and the prize for 3rd place was getting a kill team, because it was a kill team tournament. Was getting, I supply the miniatures, but I would have the kill team painted for me. Well, he's had almost a year to improve on his skills as a painter since that time. And he was pretty good then. He's really good now. So I was talking about it. He's like, yeah, I'll paint it up. When I went home and I realized I have this box of old school Harlequins. One, I have no desire to paint Harlequins because I can't paint that. No, that's not my speed. But I think I really would like to have a kill team worth of Harlequins. And he wants to paint some old and striking figures. So I was telling him about it, and he's all for it. So I'm going to take this box of Harlequins, give it to him, and have him paint them for me. And let him just light up his Instagram with these, 27-year-old figures that he's painted. So I think it's a win-win for both of us. I'm stoked. So it's a good time, and I think it's I like it. I like it a lot. I like these old figures. I love Old Hammer. I mean, this is reminding me of when I got into the game, because these were the figures at the time. So, to me, it's like, oh man, yeah, figures are back. So even though I'm in the midst of painting Indomitus, I'm kind of thinking as soon as the new Codex drops, oh, come here, Artemis. As soon as the new Codex drops, I might decide on a paint scheme for these guys. That's not that awful red and white one I came up with. And paint these guys up as my Void Watchers. Or Death Speakers. I haven't decided a name on them yet. Hello, Raceland. And yes, hello to Artemis. I'd say hello to Apollo, but he's already gone to bed. Isn't that right, big girl? She's feeling lonely. She wants to cuddle. You're a weird dog. You want to go back down? Can I put you down? Okay, good girl. Good girl. So yeah, Old Hammer is new again. Well, it's back up now. It crashed earlier twice. Multiple problems this evening. It's been kind of crazy. So we got about 15 minutes left in the stream, and let's talk about announcements going forward. I kind of hit up my Patreons and was talking to them about my next project, because it's weird having all these new models just waiting to be painted. Kind of really inspired me. So I really need to do another terrain tutorial. And I still have that fortress, that magnetic fortress that I still got to finish the gate for. And I'm still working out the numbers for that. But there was another piece to that fortress that I was working on. So that's what I think is going to be the next big tutorial I do. And I think I'm going to start working on it like this weekend. Is going to be a set of like a bunker, like a forward bunker, a forward fire emplacement for that fortress, along with some trenches, and how to do them modularly. So you don't have to have them with the fortress, and you can just do them for your own battlefield and for your own gaming table. You know, set up some trenches and embattlements and whatnot. And I think that'll be kind of cool. It's also got me thinking about No Bolter November. With No Bolter November coming up pretty quickly, since for October, I've got a terrain project for October that I've got set aside, but that is like next week. Oh gosh, I'm run out of time. I think the next month and a half is going to be a lot of terrain projects because I got a bunch of things going on. I've got some orc terrain that I'm finally going to be releasing for October. I've been sitting on it, waiting on that. I want to get that. I want to get that gate done up. I want to do this. The modular trench. I think the modular trench is a really good one because it's going to be an easy project that's going to look really cool. So, and with the new 9th edition rules, I think trenches and that sort of terrain, you know, trenches and retaining walls and that type of thing, I think those are, I mean, they're gonna be beneficial. I mean, they're good for fighting in, so I think they're gonna see more use. So I think showing people how to make their own, especially sci-fi ones. I'm not gonna show you how to make fantasy ones or, you know, historical ones. I've got an idea for sci-fi ones that match the aesthetic of my current fortress. So I think that'll work out. As far as No Bolter November, I don't think I'm going to work about models this November. I think for No Bolter November, because I've been in the mood to create terrain, I'm going to do some Age of Sigmar specific looking terrain. Specifically, I'm thinking battlement walls, like castle walls or that type of thing. I've got some ideas. I've seen a few pieces. There was a huge push earlier this summer where a huge amount of the Australian and the German Lord of the Rings community online kind of collabed as a group online and did a whole bunch of YouTube videos and tutorials on building Minas Tirith. If you're familiar with the YouTuber Zorpazorp, he did a beautiful set of battlement walls and siege towers and just really good stuff. What is No Bolter November? No Space Marines? No Bolter November is my dedication to show that there's more to the wargaming hobby than just 40K. So it is something non-40K related. It could be Age of Sigmar, and that's what I'm thinking it's going to be this year, something more Age of Sigmar based. If for some reason I lose my mind and get into bolt action or Flames of War, maybe I'll do some World War II terrain, but I doubt it. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do some fantasy, some Age of Sigmar. But I also kind of challenge the rest of the community to use November as a time to step away from 40K and remember there's a bigger hobby out there and to do something more with it. You, unfortunately or fortunately, You've got so many. You Kaiju. I mean, your channel is amazing, and all your models and the stuff you do. You're no bolter Kaiju that happens to do some 40K stuff here and there. So, but yeah, no Volt in November. I started last year, and I really kind of challenge other YouTubers to do the same thing. They take November when they're part of the bigger hobby to step away from 40K for a month and just focus on other great war games or tabletop RPGs out there. Build some D&D terrain. Bolter November. No, you should go for Bolter every day. Bolter Kaiju. I'm telling you, Kaiju, you should go with your Tyranid love. You should go get like a Tyrannifex. Just gigantic freaking Tyranid. Build that. Paint that up. Oh, Kender. There are... Kender is here. She can't see him. Come here. Come here, Kender. This is the Kender.
I got back from work.
I know. You just got back from work. This is the Kender. There are tacos in the kitchen. Taco Tuesday.
I got glitter. It was on clearance.
You got what on clearance?
Glitter.
Glitter.
He has some packs of Martha Stewart clear for like $3.97 for like a huge pack of it.
Carry on the tradition and pass it on to me. Pass one on to you. I give you nothing. Zane, I give you crap. That's what you get. If you drive all the way here to my house, I will give you some figures.
That's an expensive trip.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Commodore. Yeah, dude, get the. Oh my gosh, yeah, start collecting box. That big dude. I honestly, I really want to paint and build Tyranids. But not specifically yet, but I want to really do Tyranids really badly. But man, like you guys in Brisbane, and I'm not going to say it like an American, in Brisbane 2 weeks ago, there was a GT and Tyranids came in third place. And everybody was like, holy crap, what just happened? And this is what makes me go, maybe I don't want to do Tyranids. Because he had 125 zoanthropes. One of the thropes, one of the little guys. He had 125 of them. Or no, I'm sorry, not 120, but 150. He had 150 of the little dudes, the little claw guys. There's 150 of them. And then another 20 of the little dudes with the gun. So 170. I'm like, I mean, Christ. That's a lot of figures for one army. He had a few other things. He had Old One Eye and some other stuff, but it was mainly just gaunts. That's it, Hormagaunts. Yeah, he had a gaunt swarm. He had 150 of the gaunts, of the claw gaunts, and then 22 groups of 10 of the gun gaunts. I mean, I think they're cool, but Christ almighty, I don't want to paint 170 of the little tiny little thumb-sized figures. What are you looking for?
There's a whole bunch of these little hook things. I thought I brought a bunch of them up here to you for you to set up your stuff. Yeah, these. Is there any more of these left?
They're probably in the cabinet. I'd have to dig them up for you.
Like them
if I have them, they're in the cabinet. Well, actually, there's a couple different ways to play them, I guess, right now. But this was pretty crazy. So to me, that was just crazy. I mean, because I think I don't know. And it's just to me that's just 150 hormagaunts on the table, just 6 groups of 25. It's just like, wow. So, so yeah, I mean, I really like the Tyranids, but the idea of getting that deep into painting them, the idea freaks me out. And then I realized I painted 350 figures this year so far. 400. Potentially it looks like. So maybe that's not so bad. But the price, that was the other thing that would kill me. I mean, there's 12 hormagaunts in a box, I think. It's or 20 hormagaunts in a box, something like that. So the number of boxes, just boxes of those things you would need, just crazy. It's just like, oh my God. I mean, that's an investment. So I'm looking at Marines right now because I've got boxes of Marines and boxes of Eldar. And I was saying Commodore. Commodore is going to be coming over my house at some point soon. And when he does, I will be giving him some Marines. And he'll be bringing Phoenix with him. And I will be giving her some lovely Sisters of Battle. And the next time I see Artie, I have some Dark Angel stuff for him. And the next time I see Ben, I have some Dark Angel stuff for him. And there's a couple other people they know. Hey, Zane, like I said, drive out to my house. Drive out to my house. I'll give you some Marines. Yeah, next time I see you, Artie. I got some Dark Angel stuff set aside that I'm setting aside for you and Ben. Some very specifically. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, and that was the point I was getting to. These were gifted to me. He didn't ask for anything in return. You guys saw how big this box is. This is a huge box of stuff. Now here's the thing. This is what I said. I was going to come back to this later. He has 2 more boxes that size for me. He just didn't realize I was interested in the other stuff, so he didn't pull it out. Because he thought all I played was Marines, and he knew my wife played Elves. And he thought Eldar and Dark Eldar were the same thing. When he found out that I played a lot of different things, and I know people, he's like, oh, I wish I had known. I'd have pulled them all out for you. I got 2 more boxes that size for you. What? So the next time I go over to his house, he has 2 more boxes this size for me. One of the boxes, he checked it just to make sure it has the original Necromunda, complete Necromunda, the original box set, the 1995 box set, and Outlanders, the complete box set, which was the add-on / sequel box that added onto the game. He's got both of those, but he's got that complete. He's going to be giving that to me. Apparently, he's got 2 or 3 boxes of Gorka Morka, the original Gorka Morka, with Digganogs. And a bunch of, he's got an entire box that size. Like a box that size, that's pretty much just orcs. He's just going to give it to me. So I wouldn't feel right yeah, that's exactly. I kind of used to. We like the idea of it. It's all basically primed, and that's it. At best, some of it, like I said, some of the stuff is still shrink wrapped in plastic. So he's got a ton of it, and he's just giving it to me. So I don't feel right selling it. But if I got an offer to buy a piece from me that somebody offered me like a stupid amount of money for, I'd of course sell it to them because they want it more than I do. But the flip side is I would sell it. I wouldn't keep a dime. If I sold it, I would give that money to the guy who gave it to me, because this isn't mine. Not really. It's mine because he gave it to me, but I had no financial investment in this, and I wouldn't feel right not giving that money to him. But I also wouldn't feel like charging friends to give them some of this great gift that was given to me. So I'm going to be giving some of it away. I'm going to be painting a bunch of it up. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to paint a bunch of stuff, but I'm going to love every freaking minute of it. I'm going to paint up a bunch of it. But I'm going to give some away. People that appreciate the hobby, people that appreciate the history, they're going to get, a few pieces here and there, especially if I know they're big on specific armies. Like Chapter Master Artie is a Dark Angels player, and I've got a Dark Angels guy specifically I want to give to him. Same for Ben. If I had any of the Force Nemesis Terminators that like I used to have, or the Terminators with the Force Nemesis pikes, I definitely at least give him one. So I want to give this stuff away to get to people, and I'm gonna probably keep one of the sealed boxes, and I don't know, do something for charity with it, or I don't know. I mean, I don't play Blood Angels, and that box of Blood Angels is still sealed in the plastic. If somebody was a serious Blood Angels player, they probably really, really, really want that. So I might think about doing something with that for like a Blood Angels player. I don't really know any, though. I mean, that's the funny thing. So that's stuff I got to think about. But it was a gift to me, and so I want to make sure I gift it on as well, because unless I start painting tomorrow, I won't get this done by the end of the year. Okay, so maybe not by the end of the year, but yeah. But I want to give some of this stuff away. I also, like I said, I got to go out to. There's a bit shop I found that actually sells Guardian pieces, and I'm going to get a bunch because I've got a bunch of Eldar Guardians that are metal torsos and heads and legs. But they have no arms, and there's none of the arms anywhere. So I mean, I can buy a bunch of Guardian arms where they're holding the shuriken rifles, and then we go. Those will all be usable. So it'll be cool to do. So that being said, I think we're done for the night. We are near the end of the night. So I would appreciate if all of you people would smash that like button for me. Let people know that I'm doing okay. When you get this thing finished, get comments below. I'm going to give a quick shout out to all my friends in Patreon. I want to give a shout out to both Mini Warmutt and Zane, my two Battle Brother level Patreons. I want to give a shout out to Joe Bookish, Heinrich Botha, Kaiju Shorts, and Mythos Kushranada, my battle leader tier patrons. And lastly, give a shout out to Flight of the Phoenix, Alex Drake, James Meeks, and my close friend, the Commodore, as my Warlord level patrons. Now, I also want to give a quick, small shout out about the Commodore, because we're going to have to work out the details. But Commodore and I are kind of messing with an idea that we may be starting up a podcast type show channel, specifically talking about lore of 40K, but from the perspective, it might be a channel, it might be its own channel, but from the perspective of lore of that's not canon. Start off with the way things used to be and kind of go down the history and where they are now, and talk about it from the perspectives of different armies, different chapters, different worlds, different figures, like even something as minor as the Zote. The Zote has a crazy long history, and it's really bizarre. And for you Tyranids players, this guy used to be a part of your army because he was your diplomat. Tyranids with diplomats. Rogue Trader was weird era. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. So we gotta get some scripts together. We're gonna sit down and do some research. He and I gotta bang our heads together. Exactly, and that's why they were ditched. So, but that's the whole thing. You go to their early end. All these are their diplomats. Well, why would they need diplomats? Surrender peacefully, and we'll eat you quickly. You know. All right. So I appreciate all of you. Again, hit that like button, hit that bell, hit that subscription, comment below. If there's anything else you want to talk about, put it in the comments below once this thing is in the future. And if it's in the future, remember also hit that like button if I brought you any joy or entertainment in this. We have merch. Check us out on Teespring. I have an Instagram, Gamecraft Dragon. My lovely wife and typical partner, Lady Dragon 28, has also an Instagram which shows off the stuff she paints. Plague Child as well. We have a lot of different stuff we do. And we look forward to talking in the future. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And remember, epic your board, epic your game, and epic your life. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Be good to each other. And be safe. Wear your damn mask.